19 burned to death. Player 9 dislocated in a wall. Player 20 was skewered by a falling stalactite. Player 21 froze to death. Player 22 withered away. Player 23 was impaled on a stalagmite. Player 25 was impaled by player 22. Player 22 was squashed by a falling anvil too. Player 21 was shot by a skull from wither. Player 20 was killed by trying to hurt her. Oh! Player 10 was fireballed by Gauss. Player 30 hit the ground too hard. Player 31 experienced kinetic energy. Player 2 fell off scaffolding while player 3 tried to swim in lava. Player 34 fell from a high place. Player 3's brother discovered the floor was lava. And player 20 said was the only one to survive, but not for a very long time. Player 36 went off with a bang. Player 37 was killed by intentional game design. Player 38 was shot by Tera. Player 39 hit the ground too hard. Player 40 was slain by player 36. Player 41 was shot by a skeleton. Player 43 fell off some vines. Player 44 was obliterated by a sonically charged shriek while trying to skateboard in. Player 45 was slain by iron golem. Player 46 was stung to death. Player 47 went up in flames. Player 48 starved to death. Player 49 left the confines of this world. Player 50 didn't want to live in the same world as Enderman. And player 42 was the only one to survive, but not for a very long time. Player 51 was slain by a zombie. Player 52 suffocated in a wall. Player 53 was blown up by a creeper. Player 54 fell out of the world. Player 55 tried to swim in lava. Player 56 was slain by a spider. Player 57 was shot by a skeleton. Player 58 was killed by magic. Player 59 hit the ground too hard. And player 60 was the only one survived, but not for a very long time. Player 61 was blown up by creeper. Player 62 was slain by zombie pigmen. Player 63 was burned to death. Player 64 stopped to death. Player 65 was slain by Enderman. Player 66 tried to swim in lava. Player 67 was slain by a witch. Player 68 fell from a high place. Player 69 was slain by Hust. Player 70 was shot by skeleton. Player 71 was doomed to fall by spiders. Player 72 was impaled by ground. Player 73 was slain by blood. Player 74 was struck by lightning. And player 75 was the only one survived, but not for a very long time. Player 76 was slain by Flamingo. Player 78 then was shot by a tanker. Player 70 was slain by Mini-Bugsy. Player 79 fell out of the world. Player 80 was slain by Creepcraft. Player 81 was shot by Skid. Player 82 was slain by Inquisitor Master. Player 84 was blown up by a creeper. Player 85 was slain by Leah Ash. Player 88 the shotgun swooped 3. Player 87 fell from a high place. Player 88 was slain by Gaming with Count. Player 89 was shot by Tera. Player 90 was slain by Poke. Player 91 was bricked to death. Player 92 was slain by Zayleth's Blade. Player 93 was banned by Roblox. Player 83 was the only one survived, but not for a very long time. Player 90 94 was blown up by a creeper whilst trying to escape zombie. Player 95 tried to swim in lava while fighting Enderman. Player 96 was slain by spider jockey. Player 97 was doomed to fall by blaze. Player 98 was blown up by a TNT. Player 100 was slain by witch using magic. And player 99 was the only one survived, but not for a very long time.
Player 101 fell down 1,000,000 blocks. Player 102 was sent to North Korea. Player 103 had been shot by the Soviet Union. Player 104 was a mayfly and died the second after. Player 105 turned into a power station and malfunctioned. Player 107 was nuked by the United States. Player 108 found a chicken jockey and got mesmerized by the memes and died. Player 109 was hit by a plane. And player 101 died of old age. Player 101 got impregnated. Player 101 12 time traveled into a black hole. Player 101 got a feel on his current code. Player 101 was lured into Fortnite. Player 101 ate some polonium. Player 116 had a heart attack from the polonium. And player 106 was the only one survived. But Bingo Healer said no.
11117 fell from a high place. Player 1 did he experienced kinetic energy. Player 119 was blown up by a creeper while trying to escape Enderman. Player 120 tried to swim in lava. Player 122 was blown up by a TNT. Player 123 was obliterated by a char from Morton. Player 124 was doomed to fall by zombie. Player 125 left the confines of this world. Player 1 cent was blown up by a firework. And player 12E1 was the only one survived, but not for a very long time.
Player 127 was killed by Steve. Player 128 was killed by Alex. Player 129 was blown up by a giant creeper. Player 130 was killed by a falling giant anvil. Player 131 was shot by a smart skeleton. Player 133 was slain by zombie. Player 134 was slain by Enderman. Player 135 was killed by a strong iron golem. Player 136 was smashed by player 138. Player 137 was killed by spider. Player 138 fell from a high place. Player 139 went off with a bang. And player 132 was the only one survived, but not for a very long time.
Player 140 fell into the sun's surface. Player Vitalay 1 blew away by Neptune. Player Horde 42 has been sent to an exoplanet. Player Worm Cure 3 had been sent beyond the universe. Player 40 has been drifted away to space. After Player 14 ended into a rocket and flew 1,000 miles per hour. Player 47 was abducted by the UFO. Player 14-8 landed on moon and died after breathing toxic air. Player 149 was hit by a meteorite. Player 150 left the solar system. Player 141 was surrounded out of blur. Player 142 was launched to better. Player 140 pointed to death in Uranus. Player 140 was destroyed by Saturn. Player 140 burned to death on Mercury. Player 146 went to space without a spacesuit. And player 146 was the only one survived, but not for a very long time. Player 137 fell from a high place, crashed down with a scream. Player 148 was blown up by a creeper, lost in a lime green bean. Player 139 drowned while trying to swim, stuck under the waves too long. Player 116 was slain by a zombie. The horde was far too strong. Player 16 was suffocated in a wall, digging way too fast. 116.5 was pricked to death by sweet berries, fell in that bush of despair. Player 116.6 got the ground too hard, missed the water by a single yard. Player 116.7 blew himself up with misplaced TNT. All that's left now is trembling footsteps. And player 116.4 was the only one survived, but not for a very long time. There, player 675 was swimming lava, slipped right off the edge. Player 676 was blown up by a creeper hiding in the hedge. The only log still breathing, moving fast and staying low. 10 players entered the wilderness, but danger came alive. Player 2078 fell from a high place, missed the water below. Player 67 line was shot by skeleton arrows lined in a deadly row. Player 127 was slain by a spider trapped beneath the trees. Player 71 drowned in the river, swept away by the rushing sea. Player 81 drowned to death, forgot to bring a snack. Player 2020 was bricked to death by berries on the attack. Player 77 fly, Blaze flag, as zombie cornered with no plan. Hey, 795 blew himself up when he misplaced TNT again. And player 170 was the only one survived, but invincible Mario took him out.
Player 17, Ice It was hit by a nuclear bomb. Player 17, I7, death dot fell dot cracks at the top water. Player 17, I hit blue screen by roadblocks. Player 17, I9 was run over by a Russian country ball. Player Hair 90 crafted a time black hole. Player 18-1 fell into a black hole. Player 18-2 attempted to count to infinity. Player 1893 lived in 1920. Player 1895 was taken out by invincible Mario, just like 177. Player 1896 was hypnotized by the ladder that player 1 fell. Player 1887 was in the plane during 9/11, and player 1894 was the only one survived. But then he realized that there's a part 15.
Player 186 was slain by a zombie. Player 1887 tried to swim in lava. Player 1980 was blown up by a creeper. Player 189 fell from a high place. Player 198 was shot by skeleton. Player 91 was killed by magic. Player 193 froze to death. Player 194 poked to death by a sweet berry bush. Player 95 was slain by Ender Egg. And 96 yard. Player 1980 was slain by witch. Player 1990 was slain by spider. Player 1990 was stung to death. Player 200 death fell accident water. And player 1992 was the only one survived, but not for a very long time.
Player 21 and tried to head a creeper. It did not end well. Player 202 discovered gravity the hard way. Player 203 forgot that lava is not orange water. Player 204 tried swimming in the void. Player 205 was blown up by absolutely nothing. Player 206 angered an Enderman by blinking. Player 208 tried to duel a skeleton using a stick. Player 219 got yeeted off a cliff by a goat. Player 320 suffocated in a wall that definitely wasn't there a second ago. Player 201 was poked too aggressively by a cactus. Player 21-2 learned why you don't dig straight down. Player 213 forgot they took off their elytra. Player 214 had got 6-7. Player 215 was slain by a baby zombie with too much confidence. Player 21's poached by falling gravel. Player 2 Rook second dream thought I would iron go blame. Player 218 was knocked into orbit by an iron golem. Player 219 exploded after trying to borrow TNT from a desert temple. Player 2120 was pricked to death by sweet berry bushes, just like Player 4. Player 201 burned to a crisp while trying to toast marshmallows over lava. Player 222 tried to outswim a drowned, and Player 202 was the only one survived. But not for a very long time. Player 223 was sent to 65 million years ago. Player 224 was hit by a car at the max speed. Player 230 wides watched taking plums, films, and died. Player 226 was hit in the head by a football during Messi versus Ronaldo. Player 22 he was swooped by a plane inside the building. Mr. Beast and Mark Robber fell off the plane. Player 229 was slapped in the face to death for accidentally entering the woman's bathroom. Player 230 was hypnotized by the bee that Player 16 got stung. Player 231 teamed up with Player 232, then both got killed by Player 233. But then Player 333 walked into the lava as a carnal. Player 23 foresaw 6-7 everywhere, then got killed by Player 227 due to his mean distraction. And Player 327 was the only one survived, but not for a very long time.
Player 345 dead fell accident in the water. Player 346 didn't want to live in the same world as Axolotl. Player 347 was pricked to death by a sweet berry bush whilst trying to escape zombified piglet. Player 348 suffocated in a wall. Player 240 was doom scrolling on TikTok. Player 241 transformed into a horse. Player 242 was banned from Fortnite. Player 244 did and to answer the impossible question in Baldi's basics. Player 244 had got distracted by random dogs from the edge of each oven. Player 245 fell into lava. And Player 249 was the only one survived. But not for a very long time. But not for a very long time.
24-6 was slain to death by a KGB agent. Player 24-7 drowned whilst trying to escape Ender Dragon. Player 24-7 White was blown up by Creeper. Player 24-9 fell from a high place because he got thrown off a ledge by a mysterious black object. Player 24-16 realized his player number was a quarter of the way to 1,000 and had a heart attack on the spot. Player 25-1 tried to swim in lava because he was colorblind and thought it was chocolate ice cream. Player 25-2 was slain by a zombie with enchanted netherite sword. Player 25-3 suffocated during detonating the Sir Bomber. Player 25-5 had a massive rage out during a game of Among Us. Player 25-6 exploded, and player 25-4 was the only one survived. But not for a very long time. Player 25-7 was blown up by a creeper whilst trying to escape skeleton. Player 25-8 tried swimming in lava while fighting Chicken Jockey. Player 25-9 sinking to the ocean. Player 26 was doomed to fall by Witch. Player 26-2 was slain by Witch using magic. Player 23 was blown up by a TNT minecart. And Player 26-2 was the only one survived, but not for a very long time.
Player 264 was killed by Evoker using magic. Player 265 was slain by Vindicator. Player 266 was slain by Vex. Player 268 was killed by Cute Lucky VP using magic. Player 269 was slain by Cute Lucky VP. Player 270 was poked to death by a sweet berry bush when trying to escape Cute Lucky VP. Player 271 was impaled by Cute Lucky VP. Player 272 was slain by player 264. And now player 267 was the only one survived, but not for a very long time.
Player 273 was slain by zombie. Player 274 was blown up by creeper. Player 275 fell from a high place. Player 276 hit the ground too hard. Player 277 tried to swim in lava. Player 278 was shot by skeleton. Player 280 suffocated in a wall. Player 281 was pricked to death. Player 282 was slain by Enderman. Player 283 went up in flames. Player 284 walked into a fire while fighting a spider. And player 279 was the only one survived. But not for a very long time.
Player 24 had the blown too hard. Player 28 5 was slain by a husk. Player 28-6 drowned. Player 28-7 was blown up by creeper. Player 28-8 suffocated in powder snow. Player 29 was shot by a skeleton. Player 29-1 was slain by witch. 21 oaks are burned to death. Player 23 was pricked to death by a cactus. Player 29-5 was slain by pillager. Player 29-5 was slain by zombie villager. Player 29-6 fell from a high place. Player 27 was slain by warden. But player 29-8 froze to death. Player 29-9 was blown up by TNT. Player 300 was slain by Spider Jockey. And player 992 was the only one survived, but not for a very long time. Player 3001 was hit by a fastest plane. Player 3002 accidentally fell off a high cliff. Player 303 downgraded to Windows 3 Horse 1. Player 304 was run over by a walnut buck plants versus zombies. Player 305 got killed by the lion. Player
306 got killed by player WAP. Player EOS ever entered to beat Russian roulette. Player 308 went into North Sentinel Island. Player 309 Nauru and player 1 was being trolled by Bingo Healer just like player 106. Player 311 walked into a forest where player 2 burned to death. Where 312 was in a roof during a Dr. Zombos fight, and player real 9 was the only one survived, and not for a very long time. Player 313 was doomed to fall by a 2048 tile. Player 314 crashed a hoverboard into stereo madness. Player 315 thought detonating dynamite would give him infinite diamonds. Player 317 turned into a tomato because physics said that his existence was a hologram. Player 3118 crawled into a bee's nest. Player 31 Nike pad went to the demilitarized zone. Player 320 was sucked into the nostalgia at the Windows XP. Player 321 lost all his consciousness on the song Bingo Healer by Kathleen and Bingo. Player 322 forgot to look up at the falling anvil because it was Christmas. Player 3 didn't believe 322 and didn't see the pit of zombies. Player 334 was laughing at the entire scene and whilst distracted was slain by player 3160.
And player 316 was the only one survived, but not for a very long time.
Player 3T5 was hit by a trident by drown. Player 3T6 was killed by magic. Player 337 was doomed to fall by player 328, who actually was trapped in a box, then got shipped to North Korea. Player 329, I couldn't understand the concept of pie. Player 351 tried summoning a pig. Player 331 had heard the dreadful famous script. A multi-stage aerobic capacity test that quickly gets more difficult as it continues. The 20-meter pacer test will begin in 30 seconds. Line up at the start. The running speed starts slowly, but gets faster each minute after you hear this signal. A single lap should be completed each time you hear this sound. Remember to run in a straight line and run as long as possible. The second time you fail to complete a lap before the sound, your test is over. Your test will begin on the word start. On your mark, get ready, start. Player 332 wrote his name on the death book, and player 333 was the only one survived. But not for a very long time.
Player 334 was slain by skeleton. Player 335 was impaled on a stalagmite. Player 336 was pricked to death by a sweetberry bush. Player 337 was banned by Roblox.
Player 338 was killed by 3-for-1. Player 340 was shot by Pillager. Player 341 was hit by a plane. Player 342 was obliterated by a sonically charged shriek whilst trying to escape Warden. Player 343 was slain by Iron Golem, then got blown up by a creeper. Player 344 was slain by Vex.
Player 345 was slain by Zombie. Player 346 went off with a bang. And player 339 was the only one survived, but not for a very long time.
Player 347 fell from a high place. Player 348 was slain by Zombie. Player 349 tried to swim in lava. Player 350 was blown up by Creeper. Player 351 walked into a cactus while trying to escape. Player 352 was pricked to death. Player 354 drowned. Player 355 fell out of the world. Player 356 suffocated in a wall. Player 357 was slain by Enderman. And player 353 was the only one survived, but not for a very long time.
Player 358 was slain by Spider. Player 359 hit the ground too hard. Player 360 walked into fire while trying to escape. Player 361 was slain by Skeleton. Player 362 was killed by magic. Player 363 tried to swim in lava. Player 364 was blown up by Creeper. Player 365 and fell out the world. Player 366 they suffocated in a wall. Player 367 was pricked to death. Player 367 in lava. Player 369 was slain by Enderman, and player 367 was the only one survived, but not for a very long time.
Player 71 tried to swim in lava. Player 72 drowned. Player 73 was blown up by Creeper. Player 34 was slain by Zombie. Player 35 fell out of the world. Player 36 burned to death. Player 37 it went up in flames. Player 38 was slain by Spider. Player 3079 was squashed by a falling anvil. Player 3080 was slain by Iron Golem. Player 381 froze to death. Player 382 was slain by Piglin. Player 383 tried to swim in lava. Player 384 drowned. Player 385 was blown up by Creeper. Player 386 hit the ground too hard. Player 387 suffocated in a wall. Player 388 was slain by Enderman. Player 389 fell from a high place. Player 390 was squashed by a falling anvil. Player 381 was killed by magic. Player 392 was blown up by gas. Player 383 drowned. Player 385 fell off the world. Player 396 tried to swim in lava. Player 397 burned to death. Player 398 burned up in flames. Player 39 was slain by Enderman. Player 400 starved to death. Man, Player 94 was the only one survived, but not for a very long time.
Player 401 was slain by Mike. Player 402 was slain by Amos. Player 403 was slain by Gas. Player 404 fell out of the world was fighting Ender Dragon. Player 406 was kicked from the game. Player 407 was slain by Fairy Godmother. Player 408 blew up whilst fighting Gas. Player 409 was slain by player 405. Player 410 left the confines of the world. Player 411 headed to space. Player 412 cannot survive in space. Player 413 was sent to North Korea. Player 414 was sent to Mars. Player 415 said, "Awesome eyes," and player 405 was the only one survived, but not for a very long time.
Player 416 was slain by Vex. Player 417 was pricked to death. Player 418 was killed by magic. Player 419 was shot by skeleton. Player 420 was slain by iron golem. Player 422 fell from a high place. Player 423 was blown up by creeper. Player 424 was impaled on a stalagmite. Player 425 was obliterated by a sonically charged tree whilst trying to escape warden. Player 426 drowned. Player 427 starved to death. Player 428 was slain by spider. Player 429 fell out of world. And player 421 was the only one survived. But not for a very long time.
Player 430 discovered that gravity is not optional. Player 431 tried to hug a creeper. The creeper declined. Player 432 learned that lava is, in fact, hot. Player 433 attempted parkour and missed the tutorial. Player 434 was reminded that Endermen dislike eye contact. Player 435 underestimated the blast radius. Player 436 fought the skeleton. The skeleton fought better. Player 438 tried to pet the wolf. The wolf disagreed. Player 439 forgot that sand obeys physics. Player 440 challenged the void. The void accepted. Player 441 believed they could swim in magma. Player 442 attempted diplomacy with a witch. Player 443 learned that beds explode in the nether. Player 444 thought powdered snow was solid. Player 445 tried to outswim and drowned. They did not. Player 446 discovered that goats have opinions. Player 447 stood too close to the business end of a blaze. Player 448 mistook a ravager for a cow. Player 449 forgot to check their oxygen bar. Player 450 mined straight down. Enough said. And player 437 was the only one survived, but not for a very long time.
Player 4501 was slain by Minecraft. Player 452 was shot by Stillminator. Player 452 was impaled by Vortex. Player 455 was slain by me. Player 455 was smashed by Jacob. Player 456 was shot by Jack. Player 458 drowned while trying to escape Crab's Whip. Player 451 was slain by Carmine Ringo. Player 456 was impaled by Mike. Player 461 was doomed to fall by SpaceX and NASA. Player 462 was shot by me. Player 463 was slain by David. Player 464 was shot by SpaceX and NASA. Player 465 was killed by Catlin and Bingo using magic. Player 466 was destroyed by me. Player 416 was shot by Catlin and Bingo. And player 48507 was the only one survived, but not for a very long time. Player 468 was obliterated by a charge from Ryan. Player 469 was killed by a Verker using magic. Player 472 tried to time travel and then died because he wanted to revive. Player 6 is edit from part 5. Player 471 remembered Tenderstein pissed play mind. Player 472 tried soloing an iron golem. Player 473 had realized that Stranger Things Season 5 got released. Player 474 fell into buckets that invisible llamas. Player 475 tried to milk a ghast and exploded. Player 476 was eaten by a flying cobblestone. Player 477 tripped over a rainbow and suffocated in colors. Player 478 drowned in a cup of water. Player 47-9 was struck by a falling Minecraft sun. Player 480 tried to punch a creeper, but punched reality instead. And player 4881 was the only one survived, but not for a very long time. Player 481 was politely escorted out of reality. Player 482 tripped over while listening to this. Player 480 forgot to install gravity. Player 484 buffered for too long. Player 485 divided by 0. Player 486 walked into a loading screen. Player 488 blinked during autosave. Player 489 fell off airplane mode. Player 4980 was unsubscribed from existence. Player 4981 forgot their password to life. Player 492 was flattened by a pop-up ad. Player 493 was defeated by terms and conditions. Player 4984 slept on invisible pixels. Player 4985 got folded by a map app. Player 496 wasted out by overcrowders. Player 4980 got caught in a notification storm. Player 4980 was archived accidentally. Player 500 realizes his player number was halfway to 1,000 and runs in his circle non-stop in extreme exhaustion. And player 48-7 was the only one survived. But the hero realized that player 1,000 exists somewhere!
Player 501 was slain by Godzilla. Player 502 was sent to Narnia. Player 503 died of crings from bingo healing beams. Player 504 turned into a thermonuclear mo. Clear Fighter 5 was killed by Invincible Aerial, just like 167.
Player 506 did not know
how to keep water. Player 507 was blasted at 2.147 billion miles an hour. Player 508 didn't know what anti-dust establishment pairing-ism is.
Player 519 fell into a dungeon. Player 511 phoned Satan. Player 512 mistook Satan for Santa. Player 513 became obsessed with CCCP.
And player 509 was the only one survived.
But the song Bingo Healer exists!
Player 514 fell into toxic waste. Player 515 attempted to do a backflip and broke his neck. Player 516 accidentally pressed the big red button. Player 517 was sacrificed to stop GTA 6 from being delayed again. Player 519 tried to put a fire out but thought that water was spelt petrol. Player 520 thought he could fly. Player 521 forgot his parachute whilst skydiving. Player 522 was hacked. Player 523's oven exploded whilst baking a cake, and Player 518 was the only one survived.
But not for a very long time.